But looking at baseball company news, I feel like we have some pretty big company news, especially like for me, the biggest one I think is the merch shop that we just launched. What was that? Right before Christmas, I think that they announced that. Um, and we just have a lot of cool stuff, cool pieces on the shop, cool hats. I think Oakley has some of their stuff on there, some of our partners. Um, but yeah, it's shop.prepbaseball.com and a lot of good stuff on there to get you ready for the spring, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of it. I'm super excited to have that finally and get some stuff myself. Um, but yeah,
No, and
go ahead.
I love it because they do have a lot of cool creative options on there that, we've had a merch site for ourselves and our staff. But to see what we're offering to the customers and all the creative stuff. And Gavin, you mentioned it, shop.prepbaseball.com. If you just go to the website, I was doing it myself here as you were talking just to test it out. If you go to the main homepage, if you go to a state page, there's going to be a drop down. Um, right underneath it's basically a header on the far right, and you'll see media, tournament, showcases, rankings, draft, JUCO players, and then there is a shop button now. So if you click on that shop button on the website, it'll take you right there. But check it out. It's, especially post Christmas here. If you got any, clothes from an aunt, an uncle, a parent that you kind of want to take back and get some money back on and spend it on something else, feel free to check out our shop and get all swagged out here for the upcoming year.
I'll throw this in there too. I last spring I can remember a number of occasions where I'd get, dads coming up to me about, hey, can I get one of those hats? Can I get one of those hats? To all the dads listening, now's your time. Go to shop.prepbaseball.com.
And
And the wife's listening that need to get a gift for their husband or whatever it
yeah,
may be. Yeah, don't stop there.
I'm a big fan of that PB script rope hat, the black one with the white script. That hat is sweet.
Well, luckily our guy Drew hooked us up, Gav.
They
We're
should be
Yeah, I
coming.
know.
We should have an order of those coming. Yeah,
can't wait
those
to wear
stood out
Yeah,
to
that.
me. Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like everybody that looked at the shop in our crew like threw out to me like, "Hey, we got to get one of those hats."
yeah,
Um,
yep.
so we'll see how they fit. I haven't tried one on yet, but
So yeah, looking at correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the ABCA convention was this past weekend. I think it's over now. Is that right? Or
yeah,
is it still
yeah,
going
should be
into today?
over.
Okay.
Should be over.
Yeah,
I know it
it
was a
looked
big
awesome.
year. I was not down there. I know it, we have a huge booth, Gavin, that they put together, and I know Shooter does a lot down there, and definitely Sean Duncan and Steve Nielsen and Matt Yarber, and the list probably goes on and on with all the things
Yeah,
and people we have down there. But did anything stand out to you that you saw come across your desk?
just yeah, the stuff that they had been posting. I know Shooter was doing some interviews. I'm sure that will come out here soon, but also just like we were getting a lot of video and stuff of Mizuno and their table, their booth, and their stuff is so cool. Like the shoes, the cleats, their gloves. Like I feel like they're just really coming out with cool, unique gloves that are just I don't know, kind of different than some of the other brands that are out there. So that was really cool to see. I thought they had some awesome stuff, but I'm excited to see some of those interviews that Shooter had this weekend. I think he did one with one of the guys from D1 baseball, so
Okay.
that'll be cool to see too. So
I know it was a
so
huge year just with the outside of our company, the college rules.
yeah,
I just heard a lot of chatter about that. I haven't gotten the full breakdown on what exactly was talked about. I saw a couple things over social media, but it's huge. What they do decide. I know some chatter was over just the roster limits in the start of the fall because they put a hard cut on the roster limits going into the winter or after what December, which really is tough on the player because it means schools are still going to be able to bring in a ton of guys and have guys on the fall roster, but 45 guys would be fighting for a roster spot or spots of like that. It's only like 32. Which that's a lot of guys that would be cut or however you want to put it. So we'll try to get some more info on what did come out of that ABCA. and maybe talk about it on one of the upcoming podcasts if anything is kind of nailed down.
Yeah, for sure. And then honestly, this Friday and Saturday we've got the IHSA or IHSBCA convention up there in what is it, Lamont? Is that right? Is that
Lombard at the Westin.
Lombard? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that Yorktown, Oak Brook area. Really nice hotel. They do a great job there, and they've
Yeah.
got the Harry Carey's restaurant attached to it, and they've got a nice little, I don't know, room that they have a lot of good speakers at. I know this year they're loaded up on speakers too, just with Tony Vitello leading it off, Nick Mingione from Kentucky. I hope I pronounced his last name correct. And a lot of others. Sean Wagner,
Yeah.
the head coach at UW Milwaukee, who I know our guys up in Wisconsin, the Prep Baseball Wisconsin guys, just had him on their podcast. I'm a huge fan of him and what he does, and there's more than, I think Joe Kelch, Northern Illinois, is going to be on there, maybe talking hitting.
Anthony Silkwood, I know, is going to be on for
yeah, that's
pitching,
another
probably.
call. He's an Illinois
Yeah.
guy originally down, St. Louis area, and that's a good call out there.
And Around the Bases alum with our guy
Yeah.
Gavin here as well.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, he did. He was one of our first coaches that we had like on our new podcast format. So,
And was that when he was the head coach at Parkland? Is that
no? He was at Jacksonville
Jacksonville State at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
He's still there, right?
He's their
Yes.
pitching coach
Okay.
now. I think
Oh,
at
wow.
the time he was their director of ops.
Yeah.
But he's now the pitching coach at Jacksonville State. But no, I'm excited for this. Last year was my first year going to it, and we had our whole crew for the most part there. But no, I think this year will be cool. I know we're trying to do some podcast stuff with some of these high school coaches as well, on top of everything going on. So I think it'll just be a cool and unique opportunity this year to try something a little bit different for our booth. But no, it's good to talk with these coaches, meet them, get to know them, talk to them about their teams, things like that. So I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, me too. I mean, last year was my first one as well. And I think just, one, we get to hang out as a group, which we don't do a whole lot, like outside of work. So that's, cool for me. And then, like you said, just I'm excited to see what we can do podcast-wise with some of these coaches. I'm really looking forward to, hearing about these schools, what they got cooking for this spring. And it's right around the corner. I mean, March is right around the corner. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be here quick. The spring season, and I think too, like when we really start diving into the teams, that starts well before the spring season. During our February winter showcase season, we'll see guys pop up that we didn't really know about from Plainfield North or Eureka, or Charleston or Effingham or whatever it may be, and it's like, oh, okay, they have this guy that we already knew about, and now they have this guy too, and oh, okay, yeah, the coach did put his name on the on the questionnaire, and he is really high on him, and that makes sense. And it's a long process. It's like a never-ending process talking through these teams and how good they're going to be, and trying to figure out, coming off last year, who lost what and who's coming up and what newcomers to watch. And Gavin, and Tyler, I think that's why I'm most excited about this convention too, and like our idea about podcasting and having these guys come on to talk about their teams. Is it's one thing to read a Google sheet that comes through when they fill out their questionnaire and to read through it, but to be able to maybe expand on a guy or two, or hey, what has he shown you in open gym, or past fall, or what are you hearing on him, or whatever it may be, or how does he get it? Maybe some guy put on 15 pounds in the weight room, since October, and that's something we would never know just from reading a sheet. So should be great, should be quick and easy, and these coaches that have filled out their questionnaire, should get an opportunity to jump on with us, especially, talking about it. We're not going to be able to do 75 different, team previews at this convention, but a team that filled out the preview, took the time to do that and filled out the questionnaire. Also a team that is very high on their team. We have them, grade out how excited or what their expectations are for the 2025 season. So I personally would like to get those teams on that list themselves as state title contenders, whether it's a 1A, a 2A, a 3A, a 4A, it does not matter. And see what they've got going and learn some more about these coaches, about these teams and these players.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I kind of moving on to like our pro case, like our showcase schedule is coming up here pretty soon. That's our pro case is on January 29th. It's our first one of the year to kick off 2025. And our roster is looking really good for that, Drew. So I don't know if you want to kind of talk through that quick and some of the guys that maybe you're excited about to see this upcoming showcase.
It's kind of nuts that it's less than a month away. It does kick off our winter season, which is a very busy, season of February, right before the high school season. I love it though because it is a smaller event. It's way more personal. These guys have, come through the prep baseball system since a young age. We're very familiar with the entire roster. Now we did open it up to Wisconsin and Indiana. There's a Indiana prospect coming as well, Peyton Dickens. He's committed to Parkland. But it's primarily full of Illinois 2025s. Almost all the guys are committed. And yeah, it's just a great way for these players to get in front of pro scouts before the spring, show off these were already high level prospects, but like who's even taking their game to the next level? And maybe they'll jump like a Jude Warwick and they'll get on a guy's radar that will come watch him play this spring and fall in love with him. And you never know what will happen. I mean, Jude Warwick was drafted last year. He was a pro case guy, Jake Zeitella the year before. And our whole thing is to not have 50 plus guys at this pro case. It's to have guys we really want to have there. We want, them to take 2 rounds of BP. We want them to have an extended IO. We want to really get a solid look at them. And then honestly for us, like, from a staffing perspective, it's a great way for us to kick off our winter season as well. Like we end our showcases in October. It's a couple months where we don't run anything. We need to kind of get back into our, mid-season form as well with how things flow, all of our tech, camera angles. There's a lot that goes into it. So, no, it should be a great event. Running it at the Rhino facility in Shorewood. Once again, it's a beautiful place to have an event like this. And, we'll see what happens with the roster too, because like it's an ever evolving roster. There are some guys from Illinois invited to the Super 60, and we run it before the Super 60. So if anybody stands out, we always try to keep a spot or 2 open. I know Aiden Hayes made it this year. Cal Sefcik made it the year before, came to the pro case, so we'll see what happes. But certainly excited. There are some really, really good prospects on the list right now. I know Enzo Infelice is on there. I had it pulled up, Gav. I wish I would have kept it up. But a couple left-handed bats, Joey Aaron, Brady Shellmoser. We've got Manuka's third baseman, CJ DeKinga, who I got a quick look at this fall. He was a former future gamer, Michigan State commit, so I'm sure Michigan State would prefer him not to be at the pro case since they had Jude Warwick locked up as well before he came to the pro case and then was drafted. But really high on CJ DeKinga. I think he's got a huge ceiling, but that's just to name a few. There's plenty more that I'm missing. Zach Bava, just one of the best just bat to ball guys in the class.